No. Joining us now, the presumptive Republican nominee for president, Donald Trump. Donald, are you there?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
You've been up early this morning.
I always get up early.
You get up early. You're tweeting early, Donald.
I get up early. I get up nice and early.
Why are you tweeting early, Donald?
Because I like tweeting, because I like getting the word out.
Yeah, what word do you want to get out this morning?
Well, I think I've gotten the word out. You know, Hillary said some things, and I said some things, and now I go back to work, and I have a lot of fun.
It sounds like it. So let's talk about a couple of polls that have been out the past couple of days. The Fox poll that has you up a couple points. Then you've got this New York Times poll that has Hillary up a couple of points. But it looks like it's getting tight. The national race is getting tight between you two.
Well, and Rasmussen had a poll that had me up by, I think, 5 points yesterday. So we're doing well. We're doing really well, getting tremendous crowds and enthusiasm. And, you know, it's sort of interesting because I talk about Hillary's bad judgment. I actually said that this morning to a lot of followers and a lot of people that agree with me, but she's got horrible judgment. And you look at what's going on. And
what's the worst example of her? You say she has horrible judgment.
Well, I can tell you a lot of examples, but one of them is Libya. Libya was an example. Libya is a disaster. And by the way, just in case you have any questions, right now ISIS has taken the oil from Libya. So we knock out Libya, and you knock out Gaddafi, and she thinks we did a great job, and it's just more destabilization, a total disaster.
You have gone into Libya?
And ISIS has the oil.
Would you have stayed out of Libya?
I would have stayed out of Libya, yeah. I would have stayed out of Iraq, too.
And will you stay out of Syria?
I would have stayed out of Syria, and I wouldn't have fought so much for Assad, against Assad, because I thought that was a whole thing. I mean, you have Iran, which we made into a power. Right. Iran now is a power because of us, because of some of the dumbest deals I've ever seen.
So now
you have Iran and you have Russia in favor of Assad, and we're supposed to fight the two of them. Right. And at the same time, we're supposed to fight ISIS, who's fighting Assad.
So there are a lot of people that say you have an inconsistent foreign policy, but it sounds like pretty consistent here. You're, as far as what you've just said this morning, you wouldn't have gone into Libya.
Right.
You've said you wouldn't go into Iraq.
Right.
You say you wouldn't go into Syria. You wouldn't have fought Assad.
But I would go after ISIS, big league.
But you would go after ISIS.
Right.
Even if you
know, ISIS, Joe, ISIS is fighting Syria. So you have some people, most people, they want to fight Syria and they want to fight ISIS at the same time, and they're fighting each other.
So what you're saying is Assad can stay in power. That's not your interest.
No, what I'm saying is we have bigger problems than Assad.
Yeah, what your interest is, though, militarily, you'd tell the generals, go after ISIS, but we're not interested in replacing Assad.
I would say knock the hell out of ISIS, which we could have done originally. Knock the hell. Look, we shouldn't have been in Iraq. Bad decision. Right. Then the way Obama got us out was a horrible decision, the way we came out. And I would have said, and by the way, ISIS was created because of that, because they wouldn't take them in, because we had the wrong leadership. We put the wrong leadership in Iraq.
I want to get specific on Syria, because there is a divide in the foreign policy community. There are people like Lindsey Graham who say you've got to replace Assad and beat ISIS. There are others who are more realists who say, you know what, Assad's a horrible person, but he stays there. Our job is getting rid of ISIS. Is that where you are?
That's where I am. And by the way, Lindsey Graham called me up the other day. He was very nice. That was a very surprising call, but he was very nice. But I disagree with him on this. Look, we have Iran and we have Russia totally on the side of Assad. And that's not the reason I stay out necessarily, but certainly it's a complicating factor. But we have them totally on the side of Assad. We have to knock the hell out of ISIS. And if we're going after Assad and ISIS and they're fighting each other, people are going to say, what the hell are we doing?
All right, one more foreign policy question. You know, people like myself have criticized Barack Obama, Republicans have for 8 years, for not being good friends with our friends, but leaning over backwards to help our enemies, whether it's Iran or Cuba. This past week, a lot of people confused because you're talking about sounding like Obama saying you would go to North Korea and you'd talk to the North Koreans at the same time.
I wouldn't go to North Korea. I wouldn't go there.
Or you would talk. You would talk to them.
The last thing I do is go. I would never go to North Korea. I don't know who would say I would go there.
Okay, you won't go there. You'll talk to the North Korean leader.
Yes, I would.
Maybe he could go to your resort in Scotland and y'all could talk there. But anyway, you talk to him. But then on the other side of it, you're attacking Great Britain, our longest running ally. Is there an inconsistency there?
I'm not attacking Great Britain. Where am I attacking Great Britain? I'm not attacking them at all. They asked me about the EU. I said, frankly, it's none of my business, and I don't even like answering it. But frankly, if I were Great Britain, I'd get out of the EU. I see what happened with the Great Migration, destroying Europe, and EU had a lot to do with that. Personally, I'd get out, but I said I don't want that to influence the people of Great Britain.
You were going after David Cameron, though, their leader.
I didn't go after you. Show me where. He came after me a little bit. And by the way, he would like me now to visit 10 Downing Street. They put out that invitation about 2 days ago. So I'll do just fine with David Cameron. I think he's a nice guy. Okay. I'll do just fine. But they've asked me to visit 10 Downing Street, and I might do it.
Okay, well, that's interesting. That's news. I thought I had heard that you had said we might not have good relations with them.
We're going to have good relationships. We'll have better relationships than we have right now, but all of these countries will not be taking advantage of us like they are right now. You look at what's going on with China and Japan and Mexico. Everybody takes advantage of the United States, and we owe $19 trillion going up to $21 trillion very soon.
We heard you say in the